what did we think of the second part? For some reason, I thought we were almost at the end, but not quite.
This isn't the end?
third one.
No, no.
The third part.
They're with the third
It's the
part.
third part. Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
I'm also
It's because I was uploading the videos right now, and I was like, maybe 1, 2. So third one. There you go. We are at the end-ish.
I feel like it's definitely complicated. Like I'm trying to see like how she can decide. I feel like Sam's trying to have a little bit of control over his situation because he probably feels really powerless. I can't decide if that's a good thing or not. But overall, I read it this afternoon, so I'm just kind of like, I wonder what's gonna happen next. But Jesse seems like really intense about like them getting back together too, and I feel like Sam, by letting go, he's being more passive. So I'm not sure which is better, like being intense about it or being more passive. So we'll see.
I feel like Jesse too is like so stuck on the past. Like he thinks he's getting Emma from the past.
Yeah.
But she's like, I don't think she's like slowly starting to say, oh, like, I own the bookstore now. Like I'm still giving out the same bookmarks. Like she feels okay with being settling down. And I think he still wants to pick up and like, okay, once this passes over and we get back together, I think he expects them to move away again. And I don't think she's gonna want to do that.
Yeah. Like how the sister said she has to decide if she wants to be like Emma Jesse or Sam Jesse. And I feel like she feels really comfortable with Sam Jesse because that's where she was currently at, Yeah, the part with the bookmark, I felt like it was pretty striking because I felt like he was like judging her, but then trying to be like chill about it.
I also feel like when they were having breakfast and he was kind of like saying, oh, come on, let's just go. Let's just live in the moment and who cares? And, let's be spontaneous. And I'm like, is it because he was in that whole like near death experience where he's like, let's go do this, let's go do that. And maybe Jesse and what's her name? Emma used to be like that. And he's still like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. But how much of that is like the reaction of what he went through?
Yeah, like the trauma.
Yeah. Because at the end, I'm like, it also seems like now Emma cares about the bookstore, but he's like, nah, forget about the bookstore. And I'm like, shouldn't you care about the things that your significant other like wants?
Yeah.
And like the fact that he's like, no, let's just leave. Who cares? Have your parents do it. But now she really likes the bookstore. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, nah, I don't like that. Like, I felt like I was Team Jesse, and now I'm like, no.
At the very least, it was like a pink flag because it's like when it really turned out. I like love being on time. If I had a job to be at, even if I was like the owner and I was late, it would really bother me. So I was feeling like angsty on her behalf, and I was like, that's rude. Like 15 minutes or 1 hour, it's fine, but it's like it's not your livelihood. So he shouldn't be saying, especially if he wants to like get back in her good graces. So that definitely was a turn off for me.
Did you catch how Sam also was like, I'm also running late. It's like I have to go before he was late because he's like, if I'm late, like the session doesn't start on time. Like he started panicking also about like timing, whether he was late to something. But it's like it just showed, at least it showed me that it's like something like their values are in line. I feel like when you're with a partner, your values should be at least like you should think the same, not think, well, maybe not think the same, but like at least have similar values.
Try to understand at least the other side, even if it is opposite of you.
Oh yeah,
just be like, I'm right,
or accept it, like it's like okay,
yeah.
like
yeah,
or respect it. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for.
I was thinking too. Okay, I was just thinking how she was talking about how she wanted to always do like breakfast with Sam, but he always likes to sleep in. And then Jesse was like, let's do breakfast. But then it was kind of bad because she was late.
It's like they both have their good and then bad things. And I feel like in this section specifically, it kind of reminded me of like the Summer Turned Pretty, where I'm like, I'm not a fan of, in this love triangle, I'm not a fan of the girl. She doesn't know what she wants. So it's like the men obviously know what they want. They want her. And she's over here like, well, yeah, I want to stay with Sam. And then like kind of being closed off and like, don't touch me. I'm in my little safe space. But also like, you used to have a thing with Jesse. You can't just ignore. And then she kind of goes off and like, oh, you know what? I do love him. And oh my gosh, all these feelings. And yes, Jesse. And I'm like, you don't know what you want. Like, ugh. Yeah.
I feel like in normal situations, you would have like extracted yourself from the situation to kind of like do a pros and cons list and like be like, okay, like what to, I guess, to figure out what your decision would be.
Yeah.
But because he had been gone for so long, she's like, I don't know if he's still the same person because obviously, like, you know, so much time has gone by,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, it's fair that she'd want to revisit him and like to see what kind of person he is now. Yet I don't agree with the way that she's doing it. Like maybe being flirtatious and like still like she's kissing both of them. Like I don't know. I just find that a little cringe. Like it's gross.
Pretty fast.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily agree with the way she's doing it, but I don't know. I felt really hard for Sam in this last section because like I can see where he's like, I thought he wouldn't come back, so I wanted her to feel like that I was okay with her loving both of us. But now that he's back, like it kind of like shattered him. Like it kind of like I don't know. I felt really like I don't know. I felt sadness for him. Like I was feeling it for him. Like oh, I don't know. It was really emotional.
The part where he said like I don't want to lose you to Jesse twice, that part kind of like stuck out to me too. I was like that is really angsty.
Mhm.
Like I can't imagine his perspective, and the character was saying he can't imagine mine, but I was like he's also just like he was so happy and now everything could be taken away from him. That is very difficult.
Mhm.
He's definitely much more intact with his like in touch with his like emotional side compared to Jesse. I feel like Jesse's much more like aggressive and like much more like this is what I want and I'm gonna get it. Whereas Sam is like, you know, puts all his emotions out there and like, you know, I don't know. Like I think he's definitely much more intact and like in touch with his emotional side.
I feel like the Jesse thing is he didn't want to talk about his situation. It's like you've been gone for so long. How do you not want to? Yes, it could be traumatic, but your wife wants to know. Like why are you shutting down? And then you just want to know what happened with her. And then you're laughing that, oh, you're not married. Like that's fine. You're still with me. I'm like, it was a few years. I don't know. I didn't like
He's
that
kind of
part.
I don't know, he's kind of machista.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I feel like it's just
He's so confident. Like he's
overly confident. Yeah, like I want to say cocky that he's like, you're my wife, I'm your husband. Yeah, sure, I was in here for a few years, but we never got divorced.
mhm.
And this is
So
go back
Def-
to
definitely isn't the death certificate out there.
yeah. Well,
Definitely.
wait, was there? There was, right?
No, well they declared him dead.
Yeah, I think so. I just no. Like I want to know what happened.
I wonder if he's coming on so strong because he doesn't want to admit like all the feelings that he's having inside. Like maybe later he's gonna have an emotional breakthrough, perhaps, or maybe Emma will say something that's too different, you know, because how she's saying she has to cherry pick the truth and she's hiding certain things like the envelope with her goodbye letter to him. Like maybe he'll find the envelope and then it's gonna be like a more emotional discussion. I don't know.
I wasn't on the previous two calls. So when I first started reading the book, like I did not like it at all. Just gonna be honest with you guys. Like I was not feeling it like for a while. I'm still really not feeling it, but I do think that it's getting a little bit more interesting. And I do think it's well written, but I don't love the characters. I don't think they're the most defined. Like I wish I knew more about them. I feel like it's very like I don't know. I understand that she's trying to get to like the conflict, but I wish I had a better sense of who each of them was. And I feel like in a romance novel, like that's something that I gravitate toward is like more characterization. And I feel like they kind of brushed past all that to get to like the situation. But I do think that it's getting a little bit more interesting, but also a little bit more frustrating. Like the same, I'm thinking the same things that some of you guys are saying. But I think the other thing that's interesting is like she's almost operating like she could be like polyamorous. Like she like loves them both. Like I actually do believe that. I believe that she loves them both and like doesn't want to choose. But I mean, I think the thing about polyamory though is like the everyone has to be on the same page. And I don't think that it's gonna work with these two. It seems like there's like a very like they would, not be open to that. And, the way she's kind of operating right now is like as if that was kind of the case. Like she's just exploring with one and then she's exploring with the other. Like, I love you, I love you. And I believe her. But like she's kind of not thinking about like the repercussions of it because I don't think they're going to, like eventually she's going to have to choose or not choose either of them. And I think she's going about this in a kind of a self-centered way because she's not really thinking about like how feelings are like yeah, fine, you want to explore yourself with both of them, you love them, I understand, but I don't think she's like, I think it was it you, Crystal, was like she's not doing it the most responsibly
Yeah, like
because she's kind of just like going for it. And I get it, I understand. I don't think she's like trying to play it with anyone, but she's like it's gonna, I think she's complicating things further. And the other thing is, I think she jumped into the relationship with Sam as a way to help her get over Jesse. And I don't think that was very fair because she kind of just was like, well, you're the perfect person to help me move on. And
mhm.
like she's kind of like using that situation in a way. So I think that in the end, she needs to realize more about like her actions affect people. And I hope that that will be the case towards the end. I hope that there's a little bit more growth for her because right now it just kind of seems like, she's not facing any real like consequences. I don't know for maybe she is. I don't know. I just feel like right now it's all kind of like open, do your own thing. And I get that. But like, I hope that there's some actual like real things she's going to have to confront by the end. That's my long rant.
Mm.
Definitely aware, I think, because like even before she had sex with Jesse, like she was like, I know I'm gonna hurt somebody, but like right now I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm like, girl, what
yeah,
the
I
like,
was like, you
come
really
on.
that? Like, come on.
I'm
Which
Like, you said you loved him and then you don't care. Okay, well,
Mhm.
have
I
fun with
did.
that.
I was looking over my notes, and I think it was in the moment where Sam was cooking the whole tomato soup and the grilled cheese and
And
all
that sounds so good.
That did sound really good.
I was like his like love and like the way he demonstrates how much he cares for her is very genuine, which I feel like that's why I'm more turning more team Sam than team Jesse. Um and I'm like, but are her feelings true and pure for him? And then the freaking author goes on, and when she's talking to like the sister, she's like, "Oh, that she dated the captain of the swimming team, swimming or whatever was swim team or something. And then she dated Jesse, who ended up being the captain of the swim team. And it's like, okay, was it true that you wanted to be with Jesse like that? Or were you trying to be
We-
like your sister and do everything like your sister? I don't know. So I'm like, which one is real? Or
I
which
don't think this
one,
girl really knows who she is. I
yeah.
feel like she just always just
Mm.
escape. Like even from the beginning of high school, like from by the end of high school, she's like, I need to get out of here. So she kind of escapes to a faraway college, travels the world. Like she's still, but because she's had a partner this entire time, I feel like she hasn't really had the time to discover who she really is.
Mhm.
Other than
Mm.
those 2 years that she was by herself, that she knew she wanted to settle down, open up the bookstore or take over the bookstore
Yeah.
and like make whatever adjustments to it or whatever, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I feel like that's really the only time she's had to actually discover herself. Like she's always like kind of like turned into her partner. Like she's never once liked cats until Sam was like, let's get a pet. Like she kind of always just like turn like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I can't even finish my
That's why I
mouth.
don't like
I-
that. That's why I don't like her. Like that's why I've had trouble connecting with this book because you're right. Like she doesn't know who she
Mm-mm.
is, and it's kind of frustrating having that person as your protagonist.
Yeah. So maybe like the ending story, she doesn't end up with either one, but learns that, you know, she's loved twice and they've both have made a big impact in her life and adjusted, you know, her life in a way that, you know, she is grateful for. Like she saw the world, traveled the world, and then, you know, her relationship with her sister got better because she moved back.
Mhm.
Like maybe that's part of it. Like she loved twice and then loves herself next. I don't know.
I was just gonna, I was gonna mention that. I'm like, even though it says one true loves, it's like, yeah, sure. At some point in
Or
time in her life, it was Jesse, then it was Sam, but then in the end, who's to say it's not gonna be herself?
Mhm.
But she's
Mhm.
lost.
Yeah.
She's lost.
I feel
Yeah.
like
She's wrong.
she is a little more focused on herself based on like what Crystal and Paula said. I was thinking about what I read. And I did feel another part where I felt bad for Sam is where when he was waiting at home, right, the day of the grilled cheese, like he kind of says like, "Oh, I didn't hear from you," right? And he was like all crying. I know the character is like going through a lot and whatnot, but I feel like at least a text like, "Hey, like this is gonna take longer than I thought, or I'll be home eventually. Don't worry," because it's like the circumstance is so extreme. Like Sam was probably thinking like, "That's it. She left with Jesse, and this is the end."
Mm.
She broke into her parent or not. I don't know if she broke into her parents' house. I was making me remember the D.D. Jones book, but um, like how she was trying to be so quiet, and then she was upset that her parents were like concerned that someone was in the house so late. I was like, yeah, I feel like she's she's not in a place where she can see that like her actions are affecting the people around her in that way.
I'm starting to think that Sam deserves so much better.
Yeah.
Like he's such a good man. And I'm like, there's a woman out there that will love you the way you deserve. I'm
I
team
think if it ended that way, I'd be happy. If it ended like the way you were saying, Crystal, I think
Mhm.
that would be a good ending, and I would feel like the book like was leading somewhere because yeah, I was not. I was just like, oh God, I don't understand. Like, I'm not getting enough characterization. I don't love what she's doing, and so it's hard to like root for anyone because you're just kind of like, eh.
Like I wonder how the character would feel, for example, if Sam, like, because he's feeling very sad, like runs into someone else from high school or even the friend Olive and just like strikes up like a different partnership. Like, okay, keep Jesse, like it's okay, I moved on. Like she'd probably be like really upset. I think it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of different things to think about, I guess. But I think it could happen that she ends up with like the choice being removed from her, and then she's gonna decide like maybe like should I stay with this leftover guy or not, or the one that didn't, move on? I don't know. And I think that Jessie might become more upset too the more she sees that she can't decide, because I feel like right now, since it's so new, she's not really telling him like, oh, I have these trepidations, or oh yeah, I've like gone through these different things with Sam when you were gone, or these are all the changes I've made. So I do think that's gonna cause conflict later on.
Yeah, she hasn't even really told Jesse how serious it was with Sam. Like, she's not even said anything. And I mean, I understand why, but at some point, she's gonna have to mention that they were like, like he knew that they were engaged, but like, he's gonna have to know that it was serious, that it wasn't just, I don't know. But the way that she's acting is like, I mean, I kind of
Was it?
understand.
From Jesse's perspective, I feel like she agreed to like go on a 3-day, get away with him, and she already took the ring off. So he's probably thinking everything's going so well And although I think I am a little more Team Sam, I do feel bad for Jesse if I will feel bad for Jesse if he finds out like, oh, it's not as he thought, just given everything that he went through being stranded on the island. Like I feel like that will crush him a little bit, you know?
I feel like if she was gonna end up with Jesse, we wouldn't have this much book left. Because
Oh,
like clearly they're like hitting it off again, except those little moments where he's like surprised by her new life. So I just can't imagine her going back with Sam and him like forgiving this
Mm-hmm.
unless like he begs her and he does something dramatic.
She would have
But
to do something pretty big for him because I feel like he's always continuously picked up her pieces.
yeah,
Like,
and I just
it wouldn't
can't
be
imagine.
fair.
Yeah, it makes me kind of sad. I don't know. I feel
I would
sad
not
for
want to be
him.
in her position, like ever. It's horrible.
I kind of wonder though if Jesse might also like consider, or obviously right now it seems like he's still set on the old way, but I wonder if he would consider like her new way of like settling into the town. Because I don't know, I guess when I read that he saw his niece, like it kind of seemed like those are my nieces.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. Seems like he could have like a change of perspective.
Do
Team
we
Jesse
know
or
how
Team
much time he was like since they found him versus like when, he came back home? Because I think one thing that's really missing is the guy must have PTSD. The
Oh.
guy must have like a ton of like of course physical health issues too, because he was living on like fish or whatever like for like how long. But then the guy's got to have like trauma, and they're kind of just like acting like he has a few scars and he was away for a little while, and they're not acknowledging that the guy's probably like needs a lot of help. Like that's no small feat, like living by yourself on a rock for 2 years. So I think that's also kind of like are they going to acknowledge that, like, because I would think like he's rushing way back, like he's rushing so far back into something that like that's gotta, it can't just be smooth sailing. I feel like that's got to be really tough on his mental health too. And also the way that she's kind of, going about it, like again, like you have to be aware of you're dealing with someone who's like kind of fragile. But again, I don't know if the author's really like showcasing that, and I hope that she brings that up because I feel like that would be realistic.
I completely agree. I feel like that's definitely missing. And I feel like maybe Jesse is masking and he doesn't want to like face everything that he went through. And I think for Jesse, given the experience, I feel like everything must be happening so fast. So maybe he's trying to just like get a sense of normalcy. But I think it's gonna crash and burn going that route because he's gonna find like even with one of the stores being changed, right? He was kind of upset about it. And different things like that are different with Emma now. I feel like he's not going to be super accepting of it because I feel like mentally he's still there 3 years ago and maybe he's trying to pretend nothing has happened.
I don't know. I'm excited to finish it. Who needs to know?
I mean, no. Yeah. We'll see.
I think my overall rating is really, really, really going to depend on this last part.
In the ending.
Yeah, like I really want to see where it ends up going because right now I'm not feeling, I have a lot of criticisms. So it'll be interesting to see if she actually addresses those or if it, just goes in a generic way, in which case I don't think I will have liked it that much. But I still think that she's a good writer. Like I like how she writes certain descriptions and like, I think I definitely have liked Daisy Jones much more. This is only my second Taylor Jenkins Reid book. So But yeah, we'll see how it ends because then I will decide.
I can't remember how. I think Taylor Jenkins. How did it end? Taylor Jenkins. How did Daisy Jones end? I already forgot. But I can't.
They
It was like a something that.
Camilla dies, and then we flash forward into the future, and we find out that it's Billy's daughter that's been doing the interviews the whole time. And then did they give like a letter, right, to Billy and Daisy? I forget. And then they like Billy goes to her doorstep, right? Or something. They're gonna contact each other. I forget.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with the show too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing because I think the show went a little more and it like kind of gave you the idea that yes, they communicated and they obviously went back with each other. And I feel like the book was more open-ended where like, oh, it could,
Mhm.
but we don't know.
So it left it to the reader's imagination.
A
Because I'm
bit.
trying to remember like the Seven Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo, and that one was like I didn't see the ending coming kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so I'm kind of hopeful that where it's like maybe I don't know. Like maybe I did call it and it's like her true love is her. I don't know, but I don't know. I guess I'm kind of hoping for a surprise, like something big.
And that's what I think. I mean, this would be the third one I'm reading. Third one? Yes, the third book I'm reading of Taylor's. And I feel like a lot of them say like there's twists and turns and like there's that one little thing you don't see coming, like she's really good at doing. So I don't know. I'm just waiting for that. I'm like,
Yeah, I
I
agree.
like it though.
And Daisy Jones, wasn't it like an email that Camila sends to her daughters, like, hey, like if there's Daisy Jones' number in a notebook in my desk, like you give it to your dad because at the very least they owe me a song or something like that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you can't really know for sure if they get together or not.
Yeah.
I think this is my fourth Taylor Jenkins Reid book, but yeah, it's a good point to bring up. Like in Daisy Jones and Evelyn Ugoshi does like bring in a pretty big twist.
Mhm.
That might be something that happens here or not. The other book I read, I think, was Malibu Rising, and that was kind of more like family sibling like angst. I feel like there wasn't a big twist that I remember. Maybe I need to read it again. But I'm also wondering too if maybe like when Jesse doesn't find what he wants, maybe he'll go like on another trip and just continue like being an adventure. And then maybe Emma will then go with Sam. But I think Sam might have issues because I feel like Sam really wants to be chosen. Like I'm sure everyone wants to be chosen. But like I just feel like if one of them leaves and it's awkward, like, oh, like, well, you only picked me because such and such left. And I feel like that's gonna be kind of difficult for there to be like a natural, like, I mean, not that we all need happy endings, but I feel like it will be harder for it to have like a good conclusion that way, I guess. Sorry,
I
I'm
was
kind of rambling.
I was also thinking, you know how we mentioned that she's not really mentioning the health issues he has. I'm like, what if he dies?
Bitch, what?
Because we
They
don't
have a lot of
know what's
physical
going on.
activity.
I bet one of them's gonna die. I feel like that's something the author would do. Just then the reader,
He's gone.
Like you orgasm too much too
That's what I was
many
thinking.
all the love you
So
feel.
you oh my god, that was too much for me. Woo. Gone.
Well, yeah, she's already found
Sam,
him on
here I am.
in one
Sorry.
poor guy. He's gone 4 probably.
Because we don't really know what's going on with him. I mean, she did mention a few scars in the finger that's missing. But like he also shouldn't be driving, I think, right? But I think that was more because he didn't have a license and not because
Well, he doesn't have a license expired, and he goes, "Oh,
yeah,
I'll
but
see."
not because physically, I guess he can't. But I don't know. I feel like what if that happens and that's our solution? And then she's like, "Yo, Sam." But what if Sam? Like if Sam takes
Oh,
Sam
another
doesn't
thing
do that.
I couldn't get out of my head, like because she's like, he's been out in the sun for 3.5 years. This man is probably like fucking like leather, like looks like a raisin, like he's like, oh, he's skinnier than I thought, and I was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, he could have skin cancer brewing.
Yeah, see?
But I don't know. I pictured him hella skinny, like little to no muscle, and like
Weird.
really like
the description's kind of
sunburned, shriveled.
okay, here's a different like thing that could happen. What if you guys are right, like Sam has a sickness or he dies or
Jesse.
Jesse.
yeah, sorry.
We
Don't
hope the best
don't
for
Sam. He's too nice. Or maybe she does something to Sam. Who knows?
Sorry, my original.
No, someone has to take care of the cats.
What if Jesse, like something happens to him, he dies or he's sick, and then he's eventually not there anymore because of a health thing? What if it's like, oh well, he came back so she could get closure and then finally like move on with Sam? That could be like a different take on one of them being removed.
I don't know. I just really hope this girl finds herself.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's my goal for you, Emma.
Mm.
Hmm.
She can't.
Agreed.
I guess like I feel like Taylor Jenkins is like if that's really how she like ends it. I feel like she's much more creative. Like I feel like I don't know. Or at least I'd hope have a
I
creative
think
end.
also because neither of these matches I think are, again, like I do think she loves them. I don't think she's trying to, mess with anyone, but they both have kind of issues right now. And I feel like if she chose either one of them, there'd be massive complications. It wouldn't be like a satisfying choice, in my opinion. Like, even if she chose Sam, I still feel like they're gonna have some trust issues for a little while.
Just let someone
And
else.
yeah, like 2 days after she saw him come back, like 2 days after she slept with Sam. So, I think that it's, it'll, I don't know how satisfying that will be. So if she does have if she does have Emma choose one, I hope that it's with the caveat that it's like there's work to do.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever she chooses, if she chooses somebody, like if she chooses Jesse and they have a little argument about something, he's gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not like Sam," and Sam could be like, "Oh yeah, if you want an adventure, I'm not like Jesse," and then it would be just pretty angsty. So you're right. If either person ends up with Emma, there's definitely some like therapy and
Okay, but that's human. Like all human.
no, for sure, yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Like she's allowed to feel mixed up and whatever. Like have a hard time deciding who to go with because her husband's been missing for 4 years. But I think she could have done it a little differently. And I just hope that she can like be the bigger person and I don't know work on herself before making the final decision.
Yeah.
She does because when they say like when you love something, set it free, and if it's really yours, it comes back. Like yours. I don't know, maybe something like that.
So you're
Maybe
thinking-
just keep spending weekends with like alternating guys until
God, ew. Give them an STD, más bien.
Well, then also all the stuff that was included about like her copying the sister and her like changing her hair all the time and her like not knowing what she wants to do with her life, like it would all tie in better too if they really bring it full circle as like she needs to find out who she is without a man.
Mhm.
That's what to do for herself. She chopped off all her hair and she went lighter. She's like, I want to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she needs to do more of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I wonder why she never like confided in Jesse and told him what she was feeling when she said, because even before he disappeared, she's like, I kind of want to settle down, move back home. Like she couldn't even tell him that.
Then there's that bit that kind of says, I think it was around the car part where he wasn't getting out of the car, like, oh, if Jesse told me to follow him into hell, I would. And I would just say, oh, it seems like it's getting hot, but I wouldn't be like that bad. So I feel like maybe she has trouble expressing, like, okay, I kind of want to settle down or things like that. And I think maybe he's just so focused on what he wants to do. He's not seeing that back then before he was lost, he wasn't seeing that his partner's like interests and wants and needs were kind of shifting a little bit compared to like what he was still wanting to do.
Yeah.
What?
It was so quiet.
Oh,
I was reading the back to see if there was some slight
me
clue.
too. I was literally doing
Oh,
the same.
just-
I was like,
What's going
I
on?
really feel
It
like
says,
terminating for not living together.
it says it's not a spoiler to say love wins, and I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be just herself. It's gonna be one of them.
Mm. But maybe I discover something along the way, like, okay, I'm choosing me, but I like also choosing whatever, like a person. Because I think you can still work on yourself when being in a relationship if the person you're with is supportive. But it's
Yeah.
like, I think it's a little more difficult to do, or it might not, like, it might take you longer. I don't
you
know.
I feel like you should always be working on yourself. That
Of
doesn't mean you can't be with someone, but
Yeah.
also be with someone who's okay and accepting of the different changes that will happen. Because
Mhm.
Jesse,
No,
we still don't
he's
know.
still-
There's a possibility that he might be okay with the whole like, oh, he sees the niece. He's like, wow, nieces,
well, he commented on her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
they
oh,
have to-
I almost didn't recognize you.
yeah.
And
And you have to have trust between the two of you too. And that trust is kind of being erased with how she's handling things.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It also says US Weekly said a twisted quest for love turns out twice as nice. What does twice as nice mean?
Polyamory.
So she
They're
has
gonna get poly.
one city and the other in another.
Oh, girl. Damn, they're okay? They want that? Really?
They
Hmm.
love him that
Like
much.
alternate holidays.
Alternate. Wow.
that's hilarious.
Jessie moves back to LA and she spends half the year with him.
There
and
we
then
go.
half the year with the bugs door.
I
Yeah.
saw this thing on Facebook where like the husband had a stroke or something, so he was like a vegetable or I don't know. But like the mom did marry someone else and they all lived together.
I think
Oh,
I
I
saw
saw-
that on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like on Instagram. But okay, what if he has like a terminal illness and he's gonna die in a year and he hasn't told her yet?
Mm.
Would she just be with him for a year and then go back to Sam?
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think
No,
of
I don't think that'll happen.
Do you think Sam would be okay with that though? He already said if you pick her, I mean if you pick him, like I can't do this. I can't lose you twice. Even though in the end, like if that was the case, he ends up winning because after that 1 year. But still, it's like you picked him twice.
here's a different take. I'm trying to think of like how we were saying before, Taylor Jenkins Reid always does like a big twist that's kind of shocking to the reader. And thinking of the clue twice is nice. Like, and I don't want this to happen. I'm just like trying to imagine different possibilities. What if something happens to the sister and her husband and she ends up like not like paying attention to the guys because she wants to take care of the twins? That could be the twice as nice as well.
Mm,
Twins because she's like it's like the family love taking care of, your siblings like kids or something, which she does love them. And they're still little, so I don't know. That could be something else. I feel like that would be shocking. I hope it doesn't happen. That would be horrible, but I feel like the author would do that to us.
she does that. She does that where someone who's not in your like in your eye, like you're paying attention to the main characters and then pulls out not a rando, but like the supporting character and then just something traumatic and you're just like, oh, what? And then like it ties it well, but I don't want the sister. I don't want the sister. She don't. It makes me want to cry because it's like the twins.
That would make it even more sad because they're kind of trying to talk now and they're becoming more friendly and the sister was there for her. So it
Yeah.
might be gut wrenching, like if something happens to them. I think the author might do it. I don't know.
No, no. Damn it, because I can see that. I can see that based on. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't happen.
So fast. Damn. But if she ends up with the twins, that means something has to happen to the mom and the dad. So like the sister and the.
Oh wait, don't. Oh.
Well,
Sorry.
I'm just saying. I don't want to give out spoilers, but she's done that before.
Where like house goes on flames and it's like only the little girls were saved because they were at daycare.
God, that's so
I
bad.
was thinking more of like a car accident.
Oh,
or
I
something.
rather die in flame. No, actually, no flames. It sounds way like car. You can instantly have you can die at the scene. But like if you feel your flesh burning, I feel like that's torture.
Oh my God. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely find out. Did you guys watch the movie? Red?
No,
No?
I watched it.
Okay.
wait, you saw the which movie?
I also
Not this movie. Not this. This is a movie as well, I think.
Oh yes. No, I did not
It
see
is.
that one.
On Hulu?
Yeah, it came out this year in theaters, so I don't know what streaming platform it's on, but I heard it wasn't very good.
it says on my book now a major motion picture. I didn't even like notice it.
It has
Oh,
really
wow.
bad reviews, so
No
we'll
way.
see.
Well, I
Yeah.
was already noticing the actors like she has dark hair. I was like, is she good there? Are they gonna chop it all off and make it blonde? Like,
Probably not.
because they describe her like pretty good, like where it's like, oh, like you kind of have like I don't know, I guess a picture of what she would look like.
Oh yeah, they get a
She's
full
played by a I don't know if she's fully an Asian actress or if she's a half Asian actress.
Philippa
And Sam is also Simu Liu, who was from Shang-Chi and Barbie.
Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
So
Any show too now, like a crime one, I think.
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Oh my god, I've been trying to watch the Red, White, and Royal Blue.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that I did see.
I've tried to see it 3 times and I just can't do it.
You can't get through it, or you.
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like I think the characters are really funny, but it's just like in parts, like I think that both the male characters have really good chemistry. I think it's just like their moms are like, I don't know if they're just bad actresses or like, but I'm just like this a little corny.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely cheesy a little
Mhm.
bit for sure.
Mhm.
But I thought it was like cute but hallmarky.
Yes,
There we go. Hallmarky. That's
I
a
was
good.
gonna say. I think
Very-
there was moments where it was cringy, and you're just like trying to get through because you know the story, and you're like, "What are you gonna give me?" But if I had not read the book and I was just watching the movie, I don't know if I'd fully understand or like it as deep as I like the book. Like
Mhm.
even when they were
Way
doing
more-
the emails, I know you haven't watched it, Crystal, but I mean we know the story.
yeah.
When they were sending the emails and stuff, like I feel like they were just rushing through and putting stuff in your face, and you're like, "What's going on? It's going so fast. I can't read
Oh, like
what's going on." What's that?
Mhm.
I saw half. I've seen half the movie.
Yeah.
I
So
saw
I'm
like
just like, that
and
would
then
turn me off.
right? And that's how it starts. Or no, he kissed him first. He'd obviously kissed her first, but
The what? Sorry, you like cut off. Well,
I don't know. I'm thinking all over the place because like I remember the conversations and I'm like, wait, that kind of escalate thinking like that escalated really fast. Because I'm like, at first they didn't like each other, and then one bumps into the other, and then next they're texting, and then texting turns into like, oh, one kisses the other, and then it's like, I don't know, one goes down on the other, and it's yeah, it escalated very quickly.
There's also just a lot more subplots in the book, so it isn't as quick because you're like doing they're interacting with like other characters, and like the book is the film is definitely taking like little pieces of the book that are the most important and like putting them all together, but it does end up feeling a little bit rushed because like it's just not as it just doesn't it just feels like it all happens really fast because they have a time limit that they're
Yes.
trying to squeeze everything into. So it doesn't feel as like organic as it did in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And where have I seen this Latino actor from? I feel like he's been in other
Kissing Booth.
Kissing Booth.
Oh, that's where he's from. I was like, okay.
He's so pretty. But he also looks like Raphael, so
Like Raphael.
Yeah, he
right?
does actually.
which when I was watching the Kissing Booth, I was like, I see what you're trying to do. I get it. You want to bring in this beautiful man, trying to get a replica, which I feel the same way with like The Summer I Turned Pretty. When they first came out with the first season, I'm like, I get it. You want to have Conrad look like Carrie Styles. That's how I saw it. And I'm just like, because he does. If you look at them, you're
A
like,
little bit.
yeah. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, great. I was gonna be like, oh, he's done. Like, but I don't know. I just feel like they always try and find what's in, or a replica of a younger person, a replica of an older person in a younger person, and then be like, oh, look, stardom. But then they look so much alike to someone that you're just kind of like, mm.
Yeah, Raphael's not very cute now.
True.
But it's
Man,
the
But he's
please.
directing now. He's directing now. 'Cause he can't-
Déjalo. He's
like
found
he's
a new
directing
love in-
the what is it? It ends with us or whatever. He's
Yeah.
directing
You
that.
need to cut. I don't know.
But he's in
That-
it too. He's playing what's his name? What
Right.
Ryle?
Ryle,
Ryle.
Ryle.
Is it true that they stopped filming it and they've only had like not even very much of it done? So they're like, oh, it's indefinite.
Well, no one's filming right now because of the
No.
strike. So if they didn't finish it, then yeah.
Yeah.
I still would have seen it.
Even if it wasn't finished.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so we did the Hunger Games, right? And I really didn't like the book, but like, okay, but why does the movie actually look decent?
Because the book was good.
Those-
You just-
The storyline is good.
Crystal, it's because you never read the Hunger Game books.
No, so I went into this book like,
Yeah,
And-
because you never read the books.
every time I go into the movie theater, because I've gone quite a bit lately, it's like that like
The trailer.
it always
Yeah.
comes out. I'm like, oh my god, blah blah, that looks so juicy.
You don't want to read it. But
Where
it's
we should do
because
Hunger Games, the first one, November, Catching Fire, last one, Mockingjay. That's a close one.
yeah, it's because you saw all the movies. So obviously I think they're gonna fit it very well with like the style of the
Okay.
movies. So but I was gonna mention with the red, white, and royal blue, where is the sister? And why
Okay.
did they have that one guy be super flirtatious with him when I did not get that creepiness in the book?
No, Rafael Luna.
That
He
was
was
his name?
crazy.
Yeah.
No, the politician guy, his
Mhm.
mentor who leaked the info,
Yeah.
not the reporter. That was all taken out.
So that's the thing. In the book, the mentor was different than the reporter?
Yeah.
There was still a reporter, I think,
Uh-huh.
or there was like that guy that he hooked up with, but then there was also like the senator guy, Rafael Luna, who was like his idol and his mentor, and he was working with him, but he was like closeted, right? Or I don't know, he was gay. And then he's the one that leaked the info, and I forget why. And it's like this whole other plot point, basically.
I thought that guy was the one that was the reporter, they call the reporter here in Politico or whatever, that he's the one who released the news. I thought that was the same character
No.
because
It's a
he was
different one.
gay and he was trying, like, in halfway through the book, we didn't know that he was, and then we found out that he was. And then I can't remember if in the book they actually hooked up or not. No?
Or at least maybe that character was in the book, but the whole Rafael Luna was the one that leaked the info, and he had a whole storyline with Alex, like throughout the book too.
Yeah.
And then doesn't he like help them win in the end? It
Yeah.
helps them win the election. I don't remember how.
Exactly. So I feel like that whole thing was like confusing because I'm like, okay, where's the, they did talk about the Texas plan and all that, and the stuff was leaked, but I'm like, I don't remember the guy being the one that he hooked up with, being the one that released the stuff. And then it was just weird and creepy. And I'm like, and he's throwing in some Spanish, and I'm like, stop. Like, it makes me, You know, like I get it, you're Latino, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, yay, but no. I don't know.
Well, not when it's choppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a BuzzFeed article that details all the differences. I'll try to look it up and I'll send it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was
send
pretty
it to
helpful. I
me.
looked at it after I watched the movie,
Yeah.
and it kind of like talked a little bit about how the sister wasn't there, which I also thought was problematic. She was a really good character.
I
Mhm.
watched it with Dailene, and we are like, "Where's the sister? What's the what?" Like we just kept saying, "This isn't here. This is missing. I imagine this differently." And like,
Oh,
yeah,
it's all Shining, and everybody said that movie was good,
Oh yeah.
but that left out like so much. I was
yeah. I don't
pissed.
think it's shining. I love the book, but
Yeah,
the movie, and everyone loves the movie. Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, mm-mm.
it usually happens. So I think it's been very rare where you read a book and it's like the movie actually comes out like almost
The Fault in the Stars.
You know what's actually like
exactly what
probably an example is like I haven't actually read The Summer I Turned Pretty, but
Mhm.
I read like what the books are about,
Mhm.
and I think the show's better.
You think so?
Yeah, I read what the books were about, and I was like, I don't know. I think the show's a lot better, and there's more characters, and I don't think it's necessarily like the best show ever. I just
Yeah.
think it's like more. It seems better done than the book,
Well, I
in
just
my
got
opinion.
can't wait for the third season.
Yeah, I read the books. They're next to me because I'm gonna reread them. I read them many years ago, and when I found out they were gonna do the show and all that stuff, I liked the first season. The second season, when we were at Crystal was with me, we were waiting in line for Taylor's merch, and there's some girls who were watching that show too. And then I was like, I can't get through season two. It's very cringy. Like it's just I didn't like it. The first season, yes. The second season, I did it just to get to the end, and the book was like that. So I still think the books are better, but I also gotta go back and reread because that was a long time ago. It was a different Judith, so I don't know.
I
I don't
liked
know.
all the like side characters though, and I liked like I think the love triangle is kind of annoying between everyone, but
Yeah,
but in the book it seems like it's just about the love triangle, but
yeah,
in the show it's like about the mom and about like the brother and about like I like all the other characters too. Um but yeah, I think the love triangle is annoying because she's kind of she kind of like is is like it's just like it's just weird. It's weird. It's brothers. It's weird. You
yeah.
know?
And that's
Like
what I'm
it's
saying.
incestuous and the mom basically like kind of planned it. You know? The mom basically like kind of put it in their brains to like have this whole thing. So
Yeah,
it's a little weird. It's a little weird of a love triangle for sure.
that's also what I was gonna say, that I feel like the way the love triangle is playing out in the show is not how I remember it in the book. Because this one just makes it seem like she just wants to kiss the brothers, and I'm gonna go with this one, I'm gonna go with this one, and then like, Belly, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to come back once I read the books.
Every once in a while it happens, but most of the time the book is better.
Mm-hmm.
Like 99% of the time. Even Daisy Jones, which I thought was like a relatively good TV show, the book was better.
But you said you haven't read the books.
No, Daisy Jones.
No, for it's not the summer
Oh
series.
no. I'm not gonna read them. I just was curious like what the books were about. And so I spoiled myself about I spoiled like the entire thing. I like read a synopsis and I was like, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work. Third season should be interesting.
See, when and from her perspective, it makes sense because she's a child that you can't make
Mhm.
me two boys. And I was like, okay, it's your first crush, like your first boyfriend, whatever, it makes sense. You can't make up your mind. So you go back and forth, you flip flop. But when Emma does it, I'm like, hey, honey, you're 32.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the
But
difference. She
she had
is a kid.
yes.
time to
She-
grow on her own. She
Yeah.
was with Jesse the entire time, which is like sweet. It's cute because I mean, I'm there. I've done that. Like, been in the same relationship for 13 years. But I feel like it's like everybody has, I guess grows differently. And it's like, I don't know, matures differently. And I feel like she's still very extremely immature.
And the weird thing too is that she's known both of these guys since she was like 15 years old.
Hmm.
And like that's pretty unusual. And that might also be like why she's not moving forward because she's stuck between choosing between these guys that had these fantasies of like it's like she didn't get a chance to explore with other people that haven't known her since she was 15.
Mhm.
Like that's a pretty weird love triangle. Like 32 years old, but they both known you since you were 15. Like normally it's like one who knew you like when you were young and one's the new person. But in this case, they both have known her that long.
Yeah. But she didn't know Sam for like 10 years in between. So he was like, I mean, he had time to kind
Yeah.
of become his
Yeah.
own and then like, discover himself. So
Yeah.
I think like it's nicer where it's like, oh shoot, they were able to fall in love as adults. Whereas Jesse, like she fell in love with as a child. So yes, in a way it's kind of like that, but she did know him at 15. I guess we'll see how it ends.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We'll see. Oh wow. Colleen has too many books. I was trying to see if I could have the dates of when I read the Summer I Turned Pretty series, but I guess Goodreads did not get my dates. But it was, I want to say, over 9 years ago, over 10 years ago, probably. I was a teen for sure. So that might change. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. See you all next week. Our new book, you already know, All About Love by Bell Hooks. It's shorter, so maybe.
I
Are
must.
you thinking Labor Day weekend off for Labor Day
That's the first week of September, right?
September?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could do that. After we finish our last meeting next week, we can take a break and then just do 3 meetings because I think it is shorter, way shorter than like,
Mhm.
a lot of our other books.
Will we be sticking to a Halloweeny theme for horror on October?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, we're not in September yet.
No, how about
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm already in spook mode.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, oh, that's cute.
What is that?
He's a bat. Oh, she's a
Oh,
bat. Her
that's
name
cute.
What's her name?
I got this.
The
to
the
this.
To Boo list? How cute. I thought it said the Boo list. I was like, damn.
The Boo list.
So
No, that's for Emma, the Boo list. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pitch The Exorcist because I bought it last year, but I still haven't read it. So I was like that would be perfect for October. I'm gonna save it.
Ooh.
The Exorcist. Is that the one is the movie based on that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Mhm.
the scariest book ever or something. So but it's
Well-
itself, and I'm like, it's almost October, so I think it might be my pitch for October.
Which one did we read last year?
Last year we read Salem's Lot by Stephen King.
Oh yeah, Salem's Lot. I feel like that one was not as scary as I wanted it to be.
Year
was
before,
alright.
year before, did we?
I feel
No,
like it was pretty creepy.
Shining we read in December, no?
Oh, wrong one.